He died from a combination of being drunk and severe diarrhea.
Not unbelievable for that time period. I mean,
it's not unbelievable for me in the last 6 weeks.
History, I'd like to follow me down the rabbit hole. History, I'd like to, frankly, I want to know.
Hello, and welcome to HILF, History I'd Like to Fuck with Dawn Brody. I'm Dawn Brody, your host, who believes that history is a party and everybody's coming. This episode is part 2 of a 2-part series on Catherine the Great, the last Empress of Russia. And you rejoin me and my guest, the impossibly talented improviser and incredibly good mom, Kelly Vrooman. We are at her house in LA, and man, we're going for it. All right, we've been drinking straight whiskey over ice for almost 2 hours, and we're only halfway through this story. Now, if you have not yet listened to part 1, you should. Okay, I've already made it easy for you. There's a link in the episode notes. If you have listened, but it's been just an interminable 2 weeks since, and you forgot a bunch of stuff, it's okay. Here's your essential recap. Okay, it's the mid-1700s, all right? And the then Empress of Russia, Elizabeth, has selected this, nobody from nowhere, Catherine, to marry her heir, which is her 15-year-old nephew, Peter, and he sucks. He's mean, he's ugly, and he's dumb. Catherine, on the other hand, she grows up to be the whole package, right? She reads a ton. She has sexy affairs. And then eventually she has a son with Peter. We're pretty sure it's Peter's, a kid named Paul. All right. Then Elizabeth dies. Oh, no. And Peter is crowned emperor. Oh, no. And he delivers just a series of insults to Catherine. Like, he's calling her names and he's treating his mistress more like his queen than she is. Which, incidentally, this is also where I have to make a correction, dear listener. I mistakenly call Peter's mistress Dashkova, when, in fact, Dashkova is Peter's mistress's sister. She's a good guy. We love her. She's an ally of Catherine and a hero of the story. And here's the thing. My error is this rookie historian mistake. It is the result of me using my own Western naming conventions where they don't belong. Because, see, for us, you'd expect 2 unmarried sisters to have the same last name, right? But that's not how they do it in Russia, okay? The mistress is Elizabeth Romanovna Vorotova, and her sister is Ekaterina Romanovna Dashkova. So their middle name's the same, not the last, okay? Everybody fucks up, but I'd hate for you to be standing your ground at some party Dawn Brody told me Dashkova was Peter III's mistress, and she'd never lie, and she's never wrong when, oops, right? Now I make you look dumb, and I feel bad about that. So, okay, we're all caught up. Okay, I want you to pull your chair up between me and Kelly. Here's your cup of whatever you want. Loosen up your corset. Then let's get started. My friend Kelly, I'm having the night of my life.
Me too. This is a dream.
I'm cuddling your dog. I peed twice in the kids' bathroom. I feel like you really get to know someone when you get to use the kids' bathroom.
Well, I was so excited for you to use my nice bathroom, which is my favorite room in the house, because it was designed by my friend Amber Earl, who is she's my neighbor and such a good designer. And she literally was like, I'll design your bathroom for you. And I was like, what?
I glanced in there, saw the tub, and was like,
she designed it, and she was like, and then can I take pictures and put it on my socials? And I was like, yeah. And it's literally the furniture. It is Earl Home is their socials, and it's gorgeous. They're
put it
so
in the
wonderful.
show notes.
They're so wonderful. But then my kids were freaking taking a bath in my gorgeous tub.
No.
So you couldn't even pee on my wonderful warm toilet seat.
You have a heated toilet
I have a heated toilet seat bidet.
What a dream. Now, I got to put my feet on either side of the kids' potty.
Yeah, you did, looking into their stained bathtub.
I did, and I got the pleasure of seeing the action figures that we take. And listen, this is what true, genuine, you know what I mean? Because You get to see the hair in the drain. Yeah. This is true.
Was there poop
vulnerability
in the toilet? Was there kids' poop just sitting in there?
I left some because I wanted. I felt like give a penny, take a penny. Like
I'm so glad you did. I can't wait to go see what turds you dropped.
I did. Yeah, I'm not just dropping bombs. The truth here. I've had other two-parters that maybe you could jump into the middle, but like
you got to. Catherine the Great this is insane. Her life, I cannot believe. When I assigned this to you, I had no idea.
Yeah,
the wealth of fun that this person's life had.
I have to be honest, for me, and I love history slightly more than the average person, I get a certain level of this kind of titillation just reading like the back of an Italian restaurant menu where they're like, old Mama Leone brought her. You mean. And I'm like, well, if Mama Leone moved here in 1968, I mean, that's the year that all the civil rights movement stuff was going on if they were in Chicago, and I started to, but like they don't all kick you in the chest as hard as Catherine the Great has kicked me in the chest. And it's been nuts. Here are my questions for you.
Okay.
First of all, do you have any questions about any of the stuff that we've gone through so far that you're like, wait, what? Or you're like, I'm on board, I get it.
Nope, I'm on board, I get it. I asked my question before of like, but how many and what was the succession? No.
Okay.
It kind of blows my mind too that people could, I just want to reiterate how important it was because at first when I was like, I didn't realize she was Russian because she was born German. Right. And that's more the part of the world that I imagined she was from. But she went through great lengths to make herself so Russian to the Russian people that is key. I feel like our viewers need to remember that.
Yes, they do.
Our viewers, our listeners.
I
don't remember ear holes versus eye holes. It's
Who knows?
The same to me.
There's so many, you know
All
what?
holes are the same to me.
That's what it is. It's a very progressive kind of deal. If you've got a hole, put it in there.
Got a hole, put it in there.
What is your favorite part so far?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, kind of the fact that his side piece was as deformed as him.
It's kind of great,
Peter's
right?
side piece is as deformed as him, which I think is so interesting. Also, Catherine was like, I'm going to live my life, dude. I'm going to play the role. I'm going to be the queen I need to be. But also, I am young and I have power and I have sexual drives and I have like the fact that she still was living her life. I think some of a more passive queen or a princess would have maybe not lived their life as she did. But also that this Russian court, and I know there were a ton of games going on, that was part of kind of that was able to happen. Like I like again, I'm coming off of like must be total purity, total propriety.
Yeah.
From other more Western European countries that. Literally Jane Austen, again, is what I'm going off of mostly, but also the history of the time. I'm finding it fascinating that so much sex was happening and it was kind of okay. The fact that she was a reigning queen and pregnant with someone else's baby.
And nobody knew.
Blows my mind because there were many servants who knew. There were so many people who did know who didn't screw her over.
Yeah.
Means people were already getting very loyal to her.
Right.
By the way,
they cared about her.
I didn't know. Yes, that cared about her. I didn't know, which means she was probably also a good person, or at least relatively a good person, because Peter was not.
Right.
And we know that, except for he was willing to get with a girl who was also pretty hideous, which kind of makes me like him again. I'm like, you also tortured animals, Peter. So.
Everybody's complicated.
Here's so complicated.
Who would you, so far in the story that you've heard so far,
have sex with? Oh,
I'm very curious about that too. Who would you want to play in the movie?
Oh, that's so good.
And age, gender, all of that irrelevant. You can play anyone in the story in the movie so far. Who would you want to be?
I mean, for sure, Dvorkis, or what was his lover's name?
Teskova. You're like, give me the hump and the pox marks.
Sure,
she sounds funny.
That she sounds funny.
She sounds funny.
But also seriously, like, put me in some good prosthetics, and I can play. I want
to play her and her sister.
Oh my gosh, to play both of them. One is just you looking beautiful, and the other is playing Dashkova. 100% Dashkova. I want a Dashkova.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. I think.
Who for you?
Elizabeth. I think I'd want to be Elizabeth.
Oh, sure.
The one who's like a little bit quieter, a little bit more mysterious, just as dark.
And she had lovers, she had stuff, but she also didn't write a memoir.
She didn't write a memoir. That's right. You know what? You're right. We don't have her. We don't have her words. We don't know her shit.
Self. Write a
Write a memoir. So many lessons. When last we met, are you ready? Empress Elizabeth is dead. Her shit-caked nephew, Catherine's disgusting husband, is now making moves like, I'm going to kick her out. Like, I'm going to get with this Dashkova, and I'm thinking I'm going to, like, start moving Catherine out. This is part of the intrigue that, like, little sister is starting to pass
other
along.
kings at that point had gotten rid of queens for less.
This is hardly unheard of, right?
Yeah.
And our girl Catherine is in her 3rd trimester with a forbidden, unknown pregnancy with a bastard child. Okay. So come with me to April 11th, 1762. You and I are in that sacred inner circle that we've discussed of Catherine's true blue, for realsies, ride or dies. Okay. We are among probably 3 to 5 people on planet Earth that even know she's pregnant. Okay. We know that it's Gregory Orlov's baby.
General, top military guy?
Top military guy. And no one can know this. The stakes are incredibly high. And not just for Catherine, for us.
Were these ladies in waiting? Who do you
These
think
are the ladies in waiting.
Yeah, who are probably married to other dudes, but like their job, their status is defined. Their position in society is defined as loyal to this woman, literally wiping her ass sometimes.
And their fates are tied to hers.
Oh, yes.
So even if it wasn't an act of love,
their self-interest.
We have self-interest here. Exactly. Yeah. And there are spies fucking everywhere. And Peter the Third, he's got his, her husband, he's got his spies everywhere.
What did they name their boy baby? Peter the Fourth?
Paul.
Interesting.
And Paul,
another apostle.
Paul, exactly. And Paul is about 2 years old.
Why did they name him Paul and not Peter the Fourth?
That'd be Elizabeth's business.
Oh, Elizabeth named him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Elizabeth took him, named him. That's her heir. That's
wild.
She orchestrated this baby.
Okay.
Right? As Catherine's labor starts.
Of the new baby.
The secret baby. And we are now secreted away. And this is the moment that's going to be the hardest to hide.
In her own castle?
She's got her own wing, her own rooms. It is separated enough that we're not talking about sound leak stuff. She's about to go into labor, and we're like, okay, this is it. This is the part that we've got to hide. So far, no one has noticed a baby bump. Catherine has been giving Dashkova crowns and doting on her.
Oh, because she was told to by her husband.
Exactly. As Catherine's labor begins, you and I look over at the valet. This is like Catherine's number one dude. He's the guy who dresses her. Yeah. Exactly.
It was a guy?
Shakurin. Exactly. A guy. We look over at him and give him the one of these. Shakurin gets into a wagon, rides to his very nice home in the center of St. Petersburg, and lights it on fire. Because among Peter III's disgustingly horrible characteristics is that he is a pyromaniac.
What?
And if
this
there's
dude set his own home on fire out of loyalty for Catherine.
The only way to guarantee that Peter is going to leave the fucking house, and so will all of his ugly fucking friends, is if they think a house is on fire and a house of someone they know. How fun.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
And it's how they guarantee her labor is unnoticed. Her delivery
goes along too. She waddles along too.
The flecks of light are reflecting off of her pockmark. I like to watch it burn, don't you? And then the baby is born. They give it to the valet's wife, who raises this baby as their own. Don't panic. We are going to catch up with the bastard child born in the midst of a coup and a house fire later.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Okay. But what we know right now is this is hardly great timing for our girl Catherine. Now, she probably wasn't thrilled she was pregnant. Who knows? Maybe she was. Her memoirs, and we don't know.
In fact, none of this stuff comes out. That it was his or the military guy?
Yes. Yeah. But her suddenly having Elizabeth die and Peter take the throne, this is terrible timing. Okay, when she's about to have this baby.
Yeah.
But what we don't know at this point, and we really don't, historians do not know, how exactly this coup was planned. We know that there were lots of people who were just aware that Catherine was smarter, better, spoke more Russian, was more Russian, that she had converted to the religion, that she was more liked, that she understood foreign and domestic policy better. Like, just in terms of who might be a better emperor, like the fact that it was Catherine had been apparent to everyone, like, forever.
Yeah.
We know that Dashkova's sister is giving her intelligence. We know that Catherine is fucking the head of the military.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot
And having
of
his
pieces
baby.
and having his baby. But even though we don't talk about the baby, that's like a
no,
thing.
it's somebody else's. It's the valets.
And we don't know. And we know that, like, Catherine's memoirs, when it's convenient and beneficial for her to say, yeah, I knew everything, then she knew everything. And when it was convenient for her to be like, the people demanded it of me, I said, okay, if you really want me to be.
Yeah.
So we don't know. What we do know is that Peter III is a hateful fuck who didn't help things for himself at all.
Not
Here's
at
just
all.
the things that in the 6.5 months that Peter was emperor, okay, 100 and some days that he is emperor, here's the shit that he did wrong. That even if Catherine hadn't been an excellent planner, and even if this coup had not been intricately organized, this guy stepped in it, okay? He pisses off, first of all, the nobility. Because I've spared you some of the more tedious, like, military stuff, but the bottom line is Russia is at this point, and has been for a really long time, allies of Austria, enemies of Prussia.
Okay.
Now, you and I live in a world where there is no more Prussia.
There is no more Prussia,
because it was
yeah.
absorbed by Germany. And part of the reason why is because
Oh.
Germany and Prussia, to you and me, are pretty much the same thing.
Oh.
Flashback, our guy Peter's German. So Peter loves Prussia. And so one of the first things he does is like, fuck our allies, Austria. I know we've always been on their side. We're with Austria. We're against Prussia. Not anymore. We are no longer allies of Austria, and we are sympathetic to Prussia. And the nobility is like, that doesn't work for us. In the way, whether or not how I feel, none of my shit, none of my money, none of my anything is aligned with that, okay?
Yeah.
Then he pisses off the army by saying, not only are we going to stop fighting against the Prussians, we're going to start a new war against Sweden. And we're going to dress like Germans. I want you to wear German outfits and I want you to do German military shit. Exactly. And the army was like, we hate that.
It would be so weird. I mean, in our, you have to be born in America in order to become president. It blows my mind. I mean, honestly, that was a pretty brilliant. I mean, it's weird because you're like, well, you could have a person who is an immigrant from a very young age, and then they could, like, right? It's complicated, like, now as we're realizing it. But I understand why they put that in the freaking Constitution, or was it in the Constitution?
Totally, because you just get like,
because you get it. You don't want a freaking person who has loyalty to another thing to come in and all of a sudden make you change everything that this country is to then weaken the country's whatever. I get it.
And he had not done any Russian shit. He never learned Russian. He always exalted German shit, and it bothered him. Then, so he's pissed off the nobility. He's pissed off the army. Then he goes after the church and is like, I've always really preferred Lutheran Protestant stuff. He makes them cut their beards. He makes them take a bunch of land back. I mean, he does a lot of like stuff that makes the church fucking nuts.
But we know that also the church's involvement in history has been terrible.
Oh, yeah. We don't need to throw ourselves between Peter and the church, but he makes enemies. And that matters to a lot of people throughout every strata.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Those are all sources of power.
All sources of power.
The military, and the church.
And then, as if he needed them, he pisses off the peasants. Now, the serfs, we'll talk about later. Nobody gives a fuck about the serfs, but the peasants.
No. Wait, are peasants
He pisses
above
off
serfs?
the peasants are above the serfs, and the
Poor
peasants.
serfs.
I know.
Poor serfs.
You're not wrong.
What a rough
The peasants
time.
are like, and the peasants are like, the way I like to think about it is like a real, like, pop culture tabloid consuming comparison, and they're just mad because he's got the side piece instead of Catherine. Like, they're just all castle intrigue shit, and they're like, this humpback, nasty ass, dumb bitch, and this Catherine who we love, who we've exalted above all,
Are
and
there
now he's with
pictures
her.
of Dashkova?
I wish there were.
are there-
Sadly, no one made a portrait
There's
that
no
I've
paintings?
seen. No. And if you do see a portrait of Dashkova, it's probably her sister, the elder Dashkova, the one who was Catherine's liaison. And let's not forget that Peter's a big dummy, right? Peter's also stupid, which means that even when some of the historical stuff starts to become apparent, like how much you're fucking up and how much you're hated, he's told, buddy, you know, you're vulnerable. Are you aware? Like, you don't seem scared enough. Like, Elizabeth couldn't sleep because there was a 2-month-old baby she put in jail. She was like, I mean, this guy could come back. Peter didn't seem to have any of even the self-awareness that they're like, might be people who don't want me to be emperor.
Well, I feel like he was a complete narcissist too.
Or
a sociopath. When you're killing animals and stuff, you're a sociopath at that point. The way he was acting,
absolutely. He does. He does kind of get they kind of give him the like, you know, Your Majesty, your wife is so capable and so loved. You know, and he goes, you're right. And that's why he sends her to Peterhof, which is the scene we saw in the very first episode, very first moment of that first episode, where he's like, babe, because that's where he left her, because he had put her kind of out of the way, right? He also is like, everyone's overblown. Even the Prussian king, Frederick II, who's benefiting enormously by the fact that the new emperor of Russia is on his side, as opposed to fighting for him, is like, hey, bud, watch your ass. Because you're fucking changing lanes in the middle of a war. Like, historically, your people probably aren't going to like it. And Peter's like, don't worry, the people love me. Okay.
Why did he think that?
Why does
narcissist?
Yeah, exactly. And then he's also like, and even if they did, even if somebody did try to commit a coup, I'm sure the people would be on my side. I mean, that's what happens when you only surround yourself with people who tell you what you want to hear.
With yes
right?
people.
Exactly. So our girl Catherine has just had this baby. The baby has been taken by her valet, is being raised somewhere else. 3 months later, she's laying in bed. And she gets woken in the middle of the night by Gregory Orlov, who's like, hey, babe.
Her baby daddy.
You got to get up right now. It's like, look, some of our messages back and forth, not between you and I, but between some of our other friends, have been intercepted. And we believe they've been given to Peter. We're probably about to be taken down, and probably right now. So you need to get your titty
beheaded?
up.
Were they beheading at
We
that
need
point?
to get up. Point is, time is of the essence.
Let's go.
We don't know what's about to happen. What we think is that maybe we've been exposed. Get your up.
Yeah.
We got to go. Catherine gets up, gets in an unmarked regular people's wagon. Gregory Orlov takes her to the troops, where our girl Catherine gives a speech.
To the troops?
Yes. And she says basically, you know how much I love you. I am Russian. My husband hates me. You've heard and seen that he wants to replace me. Mm-hmm. You've seen him make me get on my knees. You've seen him make me give this Dashkova the honors of the queen, which are mine. Mm-hmm. I know he's going to replace me, and he has turned his back on our allies. He is putting you all in harm's way. I will love you. I will be a better empress. Come with me. Okay. Immediately like, I mean, there are stories of like drummer boys kissing her skirts. Okay, she is immediately like endowed with the powers of the empress by the clergy, who, again, let's not forget, also among Peter's pissed off population, who are like, yes, crown her, give her the proper ceremony to make her officially the one. Then, apparently, there's a Russian tradition where if you're in the royal family, you are automatically a guard, a member of the military.
Oh.
So she, thanks Auntie Elizabeth, puts on the male military guard of a guard.
She Joan of Arc's her.
She gets her shit on a white horse, and she's riding into the Winter Palace.
Give me a white
horse.
But
as she's about to leave, they realize there's one thing missing from your outfit. The only thing her outfit doesn't have that every other guard's outfit has, which is this sword knot.
Oh,
yes, a dick. Where's her dick? And they were like, oh, you haven't. Okay, so the sword knot, where the sword goes, she doesn't have it. And this handsome-ass soldier steps out to give her his name is Potemkin. He'll come up again later.
Oh, well,
because
of course
she again
he comes
she
up again
just
later.
had a baby. She's in the middle of a coup. All shit's breaking loose, and she still has enough time to be like, "I'm sorry, what's your name?" Okay, I'm gonna remember you.
For those who can't
like-
see, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Dawn just did me a full look up and down, pretending to be Catherine, and I'm Potemkin.
She was like, "Buddy, you gave me more than your sword knot, and that was a good
right.
move." She goes to the Winter Palace. At this particular moment, Peter III is on his way to his namesake ceremony.
He's thinking he's going to this
He
party.
has no
Everyone's going to be
idea.
there because he's an idiot.
Absolutely. This guy came to the gates like, expecting his wife to run out, "Happy namesake day, dear," and for there to be this party to beat all parties. Okay, that's where he's at. Now, if you'll remember where we met Peter at this embarrassing running from room to empty room in a growing panic, and then told, "Oh, bitch, shit's gone sideways." Okay, so he goes, "All right, I need all of my Holstein soldiers to line the road. I'm going to go to my boat. I'm going to take my galley to the military base, and I'm going to crack some skulls." So his soldiers go and line the road, and Kelly, they bring wooden swords.
What?
Because for the last 30 years, he's been playing soldier. He's been beating up and yelling at and telling all these guys, they don't know it's real. They're like, "Okay, there's a coup or something, and he wants us to line the road."
Oh my gosh, the boy that cried wolf.
They show up with wooden soldiers.
Oh my gosh. They thought he was freaking being like, wolf, wolf.
So they
They think it's a playtime.
But he's still, but this is what's amazing is like, they're also just like lining the road. He doesn't need him to fight at this moment, but he sees these wooden swords and is like, "Oh boy." He gets on his boat. Okay. You and me, we're in the ladies in waiting and we're like, "Oh my God, oh 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 my God." And he's like, "Don't panic, everybody. I'm still emperor. I know exactly what to do. I'm going to go to the military base and I'm going to get my army and we're going to sort this out."
Yeah.
Okay, here's your question. As he floats into this town where he has this huge military base, how do the common people react?
Ooh.
Do they, A, they don't react. They have no idea who he is. B, they're stoked because they think it's Catherine.
Not, oh, okay. All right.
Right?
Okay.
Or C, they're so pissed off and hate him so much that they throw rocks and mud.
C.
Yes.
Absolutely C.
Fuck
Boo! Boo! Boo!
And Peter's like, maybe they don't know.
Perhaps they don't know.
So he goes and he
That's
yells.
right, yeah.
He stands up and he goes to the guards at the top of the wall. "Do you not recognize your emperor?" And they say, "We have no emperor, only an empress."
Oh, so was that okay? So wait, they already knew because these were the people she had already come and spoken to.
Yeah. And she's at the Winter Palace. He's
delicious.
catching up. Peter's the only one who doesn't apparently know. So Peter at this point is like, fuck.
Shouldn't have been such an idiot.
Is Dashkova. So he,
Dashkova's going, "Hey, I don't know. Should we just pop another bottle of wine and
at
hang
least
out?
we have each other.
At least we have each other. Hey,
Exactly.
just go right off into the sunset."
Yeah. I would like an island. Actually, here's,
Let's
okay.
call those Prussians. They've got our back.
Frederick. So Peter is like, "Oh, shit. This is not the day I expected to have." Okay.
Nope.
So he writes and he sees the writing. "Everybody hates me. I have no power. All my castles are empty." And so he writes his first letter to Catherine. And he's like, "Okay, hey, babe, baby. Listen, I'm reading you loud and clear. We'll share power. How's that? You and me, both of us will be in charge." Okay.
Yeah.
Catherine doesn't even reply to that letter.
Did we know she got it?
We know she got it. She's busy. She's like, remember that guy who gave me the sword knot? Is he still around?
Is he still around? I gotta something I need to do.
Because I have a knot for him. No, she doesn't even reply. So then his second letter to Catherine is baby. I completely get it. Now that I look back on it,
I see what I did wrong.
I
see what I did wrong.
How we could have had different ideas. How about, though, you want to share power? I get it. Can I live in exile? Wow. Would you mind just sending us off somewhere where I could live with my big ugly girlfriend? I could just play with my soldiers, and that sounds kind of great. But
still assumes some money of some sort.
What am I? He's trying to play some aces. He's like, I have an ace. I have to have an ace somewhere.
I love that he went. That is so clear that her power was powerful. That his second letter was just let me live.
Just let me live in exile. And let me have my big ugly girlfriend, please. Now, and I have to be honest, historians are split. And as I've read the record and the various arguments, I think there's a chance Catherine might have let that happen.
Really?
However, within days of that letter, he's dead.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are the theories?
Yeah. It's so bad for Catherine that I can't believe it was murder. And yet, the timing is such, how could you think anything else, right? So the other European powers who are wondering, how enlightened are we? How violent are we? Is this a coup we can get behind or not?
Yes.
Executing the previous, that doesn't sit well with them.
Because if a emperor,
or the people,
even if a very unliked emperor who is a piece of shit and everyone hates him is bad, if an emperor can be executed, every other monarch, every other top nobility person is going, well, they could do that to me.
Exactly.
I don't want to support that.
Exactly. It's so bad for her. And she gets a letter. The people, you and I in history, but certainly the people that lived at the time didn't know about this letter ever. But we now know she gets a letter. Hurried. You can tell by the handwriting, it's like, fuck. And the letter starts with, Your Majesty, we deserve to die. Oh, so sorry. This is the worst news ever. Just like disclaimer. And then they're finally like, the bottom line is he's dead. We don't know how it happened. We swear to God we didn't kill him. But look at the history we know of Peter so far. He was a sickly alcoholic from an early teenage. He is now heartbroken. He is in isolation.
Yeah.
He is devastated. He's drinking and eating. They do an autopsy.
Yeah.
Because Catherine's like, I can't have this, man.
Yeah.
I need to have some kind of plausible deniability. And I know that a lot of people are never, ever going to believe that I didn't have him executed.
Right.
So she has this autopsy. And the autopsy, again, lots of people aren't going to believe that because it's her autopsy and whatever. However, it appears that he died. That's not funny. He died from a combination of being drunk and severe diarrhea.
Not unbelievable for that time period. I mean,
it's not unbelievable for me in the last 6 weeks. I have had. If I dropped dead and somebody told you it was from a combination of alcohol and diarrhea, it's plausible.
You go, well, it was a good whiskey from George Washington's cask.
I've watched her. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, honestly, that is believable. It really is believable. And especially if the handwriting is also, I am blown away by how much of history we know from letters. People freaking saved letters.
Yes.
That is, I'm so
And do you know
thankful
what's
for all the
even
letters.
crazier is that this letter was not made public or known for years. And Paul, their child,
Little baby Paul,
believed his mother orchestrated the death of his father until he found this letter.
Wow.
And this letter, which was not shown to him on purpose, was one of the key pieces that made him be like, I think my dad just died.
How did he find it?
Hard to say.
Where was it kept?
Hard to say.
Like things like that I'm like,
How That's
What?
why when
They didn't
people
have
make
fire
movies,
safes.
this is why when people make movies from these things, people go, "That wasn't in the record." You're like, "Shut the fuck up! There's holes, man. It's like
Also,
the DNA strands in
literally,
Jurassic Park."
Why are any DNA strand?
You know what I
It's
mean? You gotta
dino
fill it in.
DNA.
Yes.
Why does anyone, and I'm a writer, but why do any of us ever write new scripts?
I know, right?
Because this is insanely cool stuff.
It's insanely cool stuff. And here's the thing where Catherine's sitting right. She's like, okay, so I just had a baby. She's right. Her body, this is month 4
Yeah.
months after she's had this baby that nobody can know about. She has now accomplished this incredibly unlikely coup.
Which also, by the way, the fact that she had other general dudes, I keep calling him general, I know that wasn't his title, but what's his name?
Gregory Orlov.
Gregory Orlov's baby. It's pretty incredible that his loyalty to her in that moment was like, let's get out of here. Let's do this. He was high in the military. Like, part of this, and full on feminist here, she deserved the loyalty. She had done the work. She had freaking done her homework. But also this guy's loyalty to her as he could have been married. He could have, whatever his life was, he could have had loyalty elsewhere, but he saw such value in her that he was like, get up, we got to go. We got to do this. Like, their baby was already born and somebody else's thing. He couldn't claim his baby. Like, the people that knew her closest were loyal to her. Says a lot about her.
It does. And like these valets and these ladies in waiting, like
they were
it's
like,
crazy, right?
You are the one. We're putting all of our marbles
also
on.
this letter that was like, oh my God, he's dead. We're so sorry. Because they knew how
They
bad this
knew
was.
how
for
that
her.
would look.
Now, on the upside, though,
Okay.
he's dead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure.
Which means she's got all the popularity, all the loyal. I'm sure she was like, shit, fuck, no.
Because of the nobility elsewhere.
This is great.
Because of loyalty
Yes.
from other countries that would have been like, because I
Totally.
bet Prussia was ready to be like,
Oh,
we're
absolutely.
freaking coming
In
guns
fact,
a-blazing.
People were like, when this whole thing started brewing, we're like, why are you going to go to Prussia? Your only chance at this point is that Frederick II keeps you safe and you can fight for your throne back.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
But no. Instead, he freaking drank and pooped himself.
He drank and shit his pants and died. And that, my friend, is where we are taking a short break. But listen, when we get back, this bitch that we have been riding with for all this time gets her throne, gets her crown, and gets to finally flex in a role.
And lives until she legitimately dies.
Yeah. Fucked by a horse.
Fucked by a horse. Guys, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Now, before we remount Catherine the Great, a moment to remind you that you can come and see me HILF live. Yeah, on the first Thursday of every month. Join me and a rotating array of subjects and guests for HILF Public School at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank. It's a party. Okay, and if you can't come because, you know, you live in New Zealand or you just had twins or whatever, there are videos. And the first ones to see these videos are my illustrious and generous patrons. And added to their honorable ranks, let's hear it for the latest to contribute to the pod, Becca H. and Gilbert J. Oh, their generosity keeps me tits deep in books and all my drives rock hard so that I can keep the history coming again and again. To join them, to find out more about the live shows, buy HILF merch, and oh so much more, head over to patreon.com/HILF podcast or at HILF podcast on all social media and
Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow.
Okay, we met her as Sophie, a low-level nobility child with no prospects.
From Akron,
From
Germany.
Akron, Germany. She is now the motherfucking empress of motherfucking Russia.
Russia. I didn't know you were going to add a motherfucking before Russia. I tried to say it at the same time as you, and I didn't get it.
I feel like I feel like it was beautiful, though. It was more like harmony.
You go high, I'll go low.
She has her problems. Things are not easy
Yeah.
in Russia, okay? This is the part I've titled Err on the Side of Caution, but it's a literary joke.
H-E-I-R.
Thank you for understanding.
I didn't even see her writing. I
She
just
didn't.
knew.
But that was a little joke for me. But her first problem is the air, because here's the thing, okay? There's people who are like, I'm so sorry. Did you just kill our emperor, right? Because it's very suspicious, okay? We're not sure if maybe we like Catherine, maybe we don't, but we absolutely can't have this fuck the lineage, rules don't make sense. There are rules, man, okay?
Well, yeah.
And we're afraid that maybe you killed Emperor, but there have to be
rules. We're
rules.
no more than animals, yeah.
Right. Okay, so there's that group, and that's sizable. But then there's another very tricky group that she is realizing is all around her, who like her and don't mind, never liked Peter, but were firmly under the understanding that Paul, their child, was going to be emperor.
Oh.
And at her coronation...
You mean
Catherine,
like right away?
Right away. Meaning there's people who may or may not have played critical roles, may have just given money, may have just kept quiet, may or may not just were like, yes, we're fine with Peter not being emperor. But they believed Paul was going to be the next one. And at the coronation, she comes in her giant dress with little Paul holding his hand. She walks up to the dais.
Two?
She holds him over her head and she says, "Behold, my heir." And they're like, wait, what? That's different than he's emperor.
Oh.
We thought you were going to be regent. And he was going to be emperor. And so there was a lot of like, wait, what? Surprise that Catherine is the empress and not Paul. So there's people who are like, that's not how it should have gone. That's not how I thought it was going to go. You pulled a fucking fast one on us. So in her reign, one of her first problems is who the fuck are you and how the fuck are you? Okay. But then she realizes the other faction that she's going to have problems with are the people who not only wanted her to be empress, helped her become empress and believe themselves to be worthy of some amount of reward or title that maybe they haven't gotten.
Oh,
or
sure.
maybe they're looking over there and they're like, she didn't do as much as I did to make Catherine empress. I was actually more important to this whole coup than she was. Why is she getting land? So there are jealousies and fighting. I only have one child.
Yeah.
And I know how hard it is. When just my daughter's friends come over and I suggest giving one of them 5 goldfish crackers, whereas the other one has 4 goldfish crackers, like, what the fuck, man?
Dawn, I mean, honestly, you're freaking not being generous with those goldfish crackers.
Come on.
Everybody goes, I did work. Show me that it was worth it.
Give me, and really specifically too, like, so we talked about Gregory Orlov, who... It's not the best kept secret in Russia.
No.
That she's fucking him. It is among the best kept secrets in Russia that she had his baby.
Is she exclusively fucking him?
Yes, at this point. But and he is a key part of the coup. I mean, he woke her up and he got her into the thing. However,
he deserves a lot.
He deserves
in my
a lot.
opinion.
And he gets a lot.
Okay.
He gets land.
Great.
He gets titles. He gets serfs. He gets all sorts of things. But there's lots of soldiers who also risk their lives.
Oh, sure.
Who are like, the primary difference between what he did and what I did
is that my penis is over at my wife,
a
not
vagina situation.
Yeah.
And they get jealous and they get pissed and they start to wonder, where's theirs? Okay.
Sure.
We've got Dashkova. Now, in the day of the coup...
I can't wait.
Yeah.
What is Dashkova's? The role I'm playing in the movie.
Exactly. So, old poxmarked side piece, she's gone. She literally disappears. But the sister who helped, the sister who was the spy, on the day of the coup, I mean, I imagine it like VE Day, you know, where like the streets filled like, oh my God, it's happening. People spot Dashkova's sister in the crowd and are like, you're one of Catherine's best friends. You helped with it. And they like crowd surf her to the stage because they know how important she was and how influential she was. Now she, after the whole thing, is like, where's mine?
Yeah.
And starts to be like, I am not getting enough. I deserve better houses. I deserve more titles. I was important to this whole thing. Where's mine? She starts to be a real thorn in Catherine's side. Where's mine? One of my favorite stories. And it's a really good example of how Catherine navigated this stuff because she's very good at this.
Ooh.
Among the reasons she got here is because she's very good at being like, yes, of course you're right.
Yes, of course you're right.
Yes, of course you're right. Also, go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So she's at this ceremony. There's this guy. He played this kind of critical role in the coup. My understanding is that he mostly just passed money between people, but the money that he gave to the soldiers, whatever was important. Sure. She goes to his town. Empress Catherine II goes to his town to oversee this ceremony to give him great honors. And as she is about to give him this great honor, he says, no, I don't want it. Because it's not quite giving me the crown I want. What I want to hear you say is, I did it. And the reason you're empress is because of me. And what you're giving me now is like, thanks for all your help. And she's like, of course, as such a critical and important ally. And she kind of tries again to like give him this title. And he's like, no, because you're not saying I'm the reason you're empress. That's kind of what I need to hear.
What?
Literally to her face at a ceremony. So Catherine's in a corner because he's sort of graciously refusing, but because it's not good enough, and she's like, fuck.
So what was it? Was he wanting a different title? Was he wanting more money?
He basically wants her to say, thank you for making me empress. I'm going to tell the whole world it was because of you. She's just not quite doing that.
I guess I'm kind of on his side. I'm like, freaking do it. Who cares?
Exactly. So she goes, you know what? And again, in front of all these people, because there's people, scribes, writing this down. She goes, you're right. You're right. Without you, I would not have the crown. And so I would like you to be the official crown getter. I'm going to give you the title of the person who goes to find the best jeweler, the best crown maker in all the realm, and you have all the money to get the greatest jewels. Make me a crown that is the best crown that's ever been because you're the guy.
She's so good.
And he goes, oh, yes, that sounds about right.
Because that is a bullshit job.
It's a bullshit job.
Holy cow,
And
she's so good.
She's so good. And if you recall, we ended the last episode with that poor little baby, Ivan the Fourth, or the Sixth, remember? The baby who Elizabeth had imprisoned. And then, so Catherine knows about this baby. And he was no longer a baby. He's now 24.
24 and
finally
crazy.
Gets word that there's this guy that like Elizabeth was worried about. And she's like, should I be worried about him? So she goes to the jail to meet him too. And she's like, yeah, he seems crazy and broken, but he is alive and he is male. And he was declared officially emperor 2 crowns before me. He's still vulnerable. And she knows that Elizabeth had set up the rule. These 2 guards guard him. And if anyone ever tries to break him loose, they've got to execute him. And so she leaves that rule. And she leaves him in jail and says, whatever Elizabeth had going, you keep it going. Oof. And one of the soldiers that feels slighted, who sees the way Gregory Orlov is being treated and he's not, through crazy cracks in history, finds out that prisoner number 6 is Ivan the Sixth.
Yeah.
And makes an attempt to break him loose. And his 2 guards stab him 18 times.
Oh, yeah.
And execute Ivan the Sixth in his cell.
Wow.
Before he can escape.
Those people had to have been paid so well.
They were, in fact...
It's just 2 people?
2 guards. They were the only ones who knew who he was,
so
who were told...
So they were 12 hours on, 12 hours off or whatever.
If the alarm goes off, kill him.
The same 2 people all those years. If the alarm
goes off, you kill him. And these guys were sick of their job. And they had said...
Oh, yeah, they were ready to freaking be done.
They had said, fuck this job.
Oh, my gosh. 26 years of freaking... Well, I guess 24 years because he was 2... No, he was 2 months. 26 years of freaking that job. Holy cow. Oh, at that point, freaking... I just want a Saturday. Give me a Saturday. Saturday. I'm
Give me
gonna
a
kill
Saturday.
this kid.
You know
I'm
what?
gonna kill
Ding
this
dong. I
26-year-old.
thought they were going to break him loose. I saw these two guys. They were walking
Whoopsies.
out front really fast.
Whoopsies! I'm ready for Sunday night football.
Completely
Finally
insane.
get to just
I
go
would
home
like
and
to
watch
go.
some football.
I hear the Azores are nice. They can't go.
Have you
They
seen
can't
the
go anywhere.
Azores? It's amazing.
Exactly.
Their QB is wonderful.
But this complication. Half the people think you usurped the crown, you killed your husband, you overstepped your son. The people who love you are all jealous and mad because they feel like they're not giving you enough, is also what leads to her starting to violate some of her own principles.
Oh.
Because if you recall, in the previous episode, we talked about the condition of the serfs.
Yes.
And the serfs in Russia are living a very similar existence as the worst of the enslaved peoples in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Among the most obvious differences is that there was no racial barrier. The American slave trade was about importing black bodies.
Serfs were the same as what Slavs.
Slaves.
The
That's right.
Slavs is the name. Yeah.
And the Slavs, the reason we have the word slave is a derivative of Slavs because it was the Slavic nations that so many European countries got their slaves from before taking them from Africa.
Okay, so tell us again with the differences between American enslaved people and these. There was no ethnic differences. It was just a class-born.
Precisely. And it became, so if you think about, and Russians, Elizabeth, Peter the Great, Catherine, all had a certain amount of imposter syndrome for their whole country. The rest of Europe, especially France and Spain and Portugal and Germany, these European countries that had slightly more centuries of culture and architecture and art and what was considered high civilization, got their slaves and their lowest ranking civilizations were taken from these Slavic nations.
People who were not paid for their work.
Never. And within those Slavic nations, a monarchy rose. But it wasn't like they said, no one of our country can be enslaved. It was, some of us can and some of us can't. But what it means is that it's a pure class thing. You look the same, you are ethnically the same, we are religiously the same, and we all speak the same language. But in terms of comparisons, your children are our property, you are our property, you have no right to marry or move around. They can do everything except for outright execute you. So they can beat, whip, publicly humiliate. I can't shoot you.
Lots of rape.
In fact, there are field serfs and there are house serfs in much the same way the American slave trade had house slaves. There were sex slaves. But then there was this other layer that almost has reflections of like the future communism, which is like your skills can also determine what kind of slave you are.
Yeah.
So they had serf theater. You're an exceptional singer. So now you are an enslaved singer. I force you to sing. And if you don't sing as beautifully as I want you to, the torture devices that they would put around the singers, these metal collars with spikes to force them to hold their necks higher. You didn't do that scene as beautifully as I wanted it done. So they put you into some kind of hot box with scorpions so that you can really experience.
Holy cow.
I mean, it is... It's incredible and it's devastating.
Dear
and
God, I hope we don't devolve any further. I mean, I know there's still stuff that exists to this day. I know that, but oh my gosh.
And in an effort to give you some insight into how these things happen, Catherine, I told you, was enlightened, quote unquote. She read Voltaire.
Yeah.
She was responsible for saving the library of Montesquieu. Like she was really into this stuff. And she said fantastically, long before she took the crown, if I ever have a say in this, what I would do with the serfs is you can't liberate them all at once because they outnumber us like 10-1.
Yeah.
But maybe slowly over time, I could make it an inheritance thing where like you can inherit property and you can inherit wealth, but you can't inherit serfs. And in this way, over the course of a handful of generations, I would just sort of organically like set them all free. But if you recall, this guy who was like, I think you should give me more prizes. People wanted so much from her.
Yeah.
And among the things that serfs was wealth. They were a commodity of value. If they are property, they are value. And it meant she could give them as gifts.
Oh my God.
It meant she could, and she didn't have a lot of other things to give.
She
and she had
giving people
so
as
many
gifts.
people needed serfs. Girl, there's one
They
guy.
were 10 to 1. Serfs were 10 to 1.
There's a guy who individually owned 210,000 serfs, which was at the time more than the population of the capital city.
210,000 people.
You had a serf. There were serfs.
That is a
who
city. That's bigger than Akron.
There were serfs who stood next to a door just in case it ever needed to be opened.
Oh my gosh. How did they not upright? I mean, you're afraid of so many things.
Oh, 1917 takes a couple hundred years, but they do.
Oh, good.
But yeah, no, they're numbers. But this is among the reasons Catherine is like, and when you say maybe we'll never get there again, people who believe and understand the right and wrong, there's plenty of abolitionists in their heart who were like, I hate that it's this way. But in a way, they're doing it like, this isn't, of course, a fair comparison, but I hate driving a fossil fuel car. I know it's burning a hole in the ozone, but I have to get to work.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I have to get these fields harvested. It just happens. An egregious, horrible error done over many hundreds of years just doesn't have as the same impact. It's part of why the mystery, it should destroy you, but it shouldn't be mysterious. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yes.
And it takes, amazingly, the emancipation of the American slaves, the Emancipation Proclamation in the 1860s is only a few years away from the emancipation of the serfs in Russia. And if you want to be a cynic, you will say that the reason that the United States emancipated their slaves in the 1860s and that happened to coincide with the serfs' emancipation is not because of benevolence, it's because of the Industrial Revolution.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
We just didn't need as many people.
Well, we don't
anymore.
need as many.
It was always...
Yay, we get to finally be good people.
It was always an economic decision. All right?
Yeah.
Under her reign, however, she does do some subtle things to improve the lives of serfs. Like she would see, for example, serfs could make complaints.
Oh,
serfs,
good. Hey,
serfs,
you know what? Let's give us a feed. We'll accept
if
for
they can learn
feedback.
to read, let's let them write it down.
Go ahead, write a comment box. We're gonna put a little shoebox with a slit in the top. You guys go ahead and tell us your
guys,
comments.
And I'll come by and read them But she does some things like serfs could complain, say, oh, they're not supposed to kill us, but this guy's been killing us. And if it got to Catherine, that there were enough complaints of a genuine, reasonable, whatever she considered to be a reasonable transgression of serf rights, she had to walk this delicate line of like, I can't show so much sympathy for the serfs that they rise up and say, see, the queen's on our side, and now I've got quadruple my population and I don't know what to do. But I also can't let it slide. So she would sort of quietly, in my opinion, too quietly, she would like fix it. So she would have sort of thugs come in and be like, are you fucking with your serfs? And like crack skulls, but never let the serfs know and never let the rest of the nobility know that she was like, you can't do that though. Like the serfs have said that you're overstepping. And if you are overstepping, she would do something. If you do want to celebrate Catherine, I've got more unambiguous good stuff. But the serfs, she said she was going to help the serfs and she just didn't because she needed them and they were currency for her. The Revolutionary War I told you is going on. This is one of my favorites.
The U.S.
If you
the American
Revolution is going on. So if you recall, Britain was one of the allies I mentioned, right? Yeah. Britain
Gotta pour a little more whiskey.
Britain has this ambassador. Remember I told you the British ambassador had come?
Yes.
And he was like, Catherine's smarter and better at this than
Yeah.
Peter. And then also sets her up with her Polish piece.
in England at that point. My family heritage is German, so I don't.
Okay.
I'm like, but again, Jane Austen really fucked me over with like what I care about as far as
I believe it's King George II. I think it's either King George III's dad or maybe early on King George III. So our guy.
Yeah.
And if you'll recall, for those of you who are big HILF fans, when George Washington crosses the Delaware on Christmas morning and slaughters the British Army, it was in fact Hessians. They were German mercenaries, were the men that George Washington kills on Christmas morning, because Germany, an ally of Britain, had agreed to send a bunch of troops. Or if you're more a fan of Sleepy Hollow, if you recall Christopher Walken with the pointed teeth, the headless horseman in Sleepy Hollow,
He was supposed to be
he's a Hessian.
What?
He's a German mercenary. He was one of those brutal British allies who's just there to kill. They don't even have that's part of the wonder of being a historian is every movie gets better. But the Germans were all in with their British allies to put down these smug colonists. And the British had gone to Catherine also at the same time and said, darling, wouldn't it just be nice if you could also come over to the colonies and help us crack some skulls? And Catherine said, no.
No, thank you.
She was like, no, I actually think this is
won't.
great.
I won't get involved.
I don't
in that.
like
no,
this.
thank you.
She, in fact, loved George Washington. She had a bust of George Washington in her office. And she was even like, you want to know what? I think it's a great idea. If I was starting from scratch, like they are, yeah. Democracy of the people, by the people, for the people sounds fucking great, but I am not starting from scratch.
No,
I am
she
starting
wasn't.
with fucking Prussians, Austrians, Hessians, millions of people on my own thing. I can't.
Serf system.
So she was religiously tolerant beyond what most were.
Sure. No, normally it was believe what I believe or you will die.
Precisely. She
Gosh,
herself
I'm
had
so-
converted.
I'd just like to say, no matter what we say going forward, I'm still having a hard time with her not really just being like serfs, live your life.
Neither did George.
Yeah, no, you're right. He owned.
Girl,
He enslaved people.
Yes, he did.
He did. By the way, the show that the animated series I'm writing on, we're one of our like experts at the kids visit is George Washington, and at one point he gives him a hard time about something, and the little girl goes, "You enslaved people."
Oh. I love it.
But
you
it's a
gotta stick it
painting.
to him.
It's literally the painting of George Washington is their expert from the Crossing the Delaware painting. And he goes, I didn't. I'm a painting of George Washington. Oh, I enslaved no one.
I love it. I love it. Well, he got a letter. He got a letter, George Washington, from a leading abolitionist in his lifetime.
Oh,
who
really?
was like, buddy, I'm going to tell you right now. History will remember you as the greatest man ever, except there will always be an asterisk, footnote, next to your name.
Yes.
You will never be the greatest man in history, and this will be the reason why. And goddamn.
That's correct. Holy
Fucking
cow.
A, right?
Who was that abolitionist? That abolitionist deserves to be the freaking...
I wish I knew
Oh.
that. I know the thing. I just don't know
Gosh,
the thing.
that's so cool.
And even her, like, this is the trouble with great power. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She was like, okay, we got to be religiously cool. So I want the Muslims to feel welcome. I think the Muslims should be in here.
She even said Muslims?
Yeah, but culturally, they're not jiving. So she's like, I have a perfect solution. You can totally be Muslim, but I won't let you own serfs unless you start civically acting right.
Okay.
Exactly.
What?
So the Muslims were like, the ones who were like, okay. The serfs rejected it because they're culturally, religiously, were like, we can't be owned by Muslims. So the serfs start burning down mosques and stuff. And she's like, oh, darn it. She didn't know what Jews were, but once they explained it.
But once they explained it, she said, I don't like it.
Yeah. No, they were like, she's like, I'm sorry, a what? And they were like, Jews. And she was like, they're cool.
Yeah.
Once
It's
they
insane to
explained
me
that-
that any time in history, it's wild that anybody has anything against Jews ever to me. It blows my mind.
blows my mind.
Once you explain what Jews are, you're like, an ethnic group of people that just is, why do we care?
Yeah. She's like, they sound dope. So she was like,
Yes,
totally bring
good,
them in.
great.
Here's one of my favorite things. And this, I have no evidence from this from like her memoirs or her biographies. This is just like a woman's intuition.
Okay.
Do you recall her having a baby on the floor and then left on the floor?
Yes.
Okay. I have a hunch she remembers having a baby on the floor and being left on the floor.
I think she would remember that.
She establishes foundling hospitals.
Oh.
Get this. You're a woman in Russia, has a baby. It does not matter where, if you are a serf, a peasant, or in the nobility, you can take your baby, you put it in a basket. On the first floor, you ring a bell. They raise that basket up to the second window, no questions asked. This baby is healthy, taken care of, and get this, not a serf. Never sold. The baby, regardless, they are generally given a good education, as healthy as we can make them, so they can be good Russian citizens.
So did they have orphanages for that?
I mean, technically, I guess you would call it an orphanage, but a foundling hospital is like the parents might be alive.
Sure, but
We're
what
just
I mean
saying,
is, did they then raise those kids in a system, or did they give them to parents that wanted
they raised
children?
them in the system, gave them to families once they were of age, but these kids got healthy. And what Russia
and they were
did,
not enslaved.
and they were
That's
not
the
enslaved
important
or
thing.
sold. It was the understanding is that you can give your kid to us and they're going to have a leg up. And as all good social systems, when well run, work, is it just makes Russia better. It just means less poverty. It means less discord. It means less violence. You know what I mean?
So people could at least have a hope if my next generation doesn't have to be enslaved.
Correct.
That
So
wow.
she
And it's a complicated time to be saying anything good about Russia.
and she
really.
didn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? She didn't do everything, but she didn't have to do anything either. Here's the bad side. Her
well,
son.
there's already been bad sides,
So
but
Paul,
yes.
I mean, there's bad sides. But
Yeah.
Catherine pretty much goes through the same shit process she went through. She forces Paul, you know what I mean? She gets Paul to meet these girls because Paul doesn't like her very much. He's fairly sure she killed his dad.
But then he found this.
But that's later, a little bit later. So he's like very suspicious of her. He's very withdrawn from her. But she finally gets Paul set up with a wife who has a baby. She's lived her years as empress. And at the age of 67, she has a sudden stroke. She's found on the floor. She's purple. They can't revive her. And a couple days later, she dies. And the rumor that starts immediately. They were like, oh, no. That's not how it happened. She didn't just fall down, turn purple, and die of a stroke, which is how people die all the time, every day. We all know 10 people who died that day. I'll tell you what happened. She loved getting fucked by horses. She had been fucked by horses constantly. And the most prevailing rumor said that she had specifically, it wasn't just that like the horse's phallus was so big that like she got fucked to death by this giant horse phallus. The proposed method of death was that she had hoisted the horse.
I've heard this, and it broke and fell on her.
Yes.
Freaking.
That the only way that she could get the horse to fuck her properly was by hoisting it on a pulley system above her, because they couldn't imagine her taking her from behind, that she must have done it missionary with the horse.
Well, yeah.
Because
you gotta keep it appropriate.
I guess.
You gotta keep them separated.
Exactly. And yeah, the horse fell on her, and that's how it happened. But like, what?
That is what I've heard. So, okay, so was there enough about her sex life that made that even a viable option that people would have even remotely believed?
Not really. I mean, here's where I think it came from. Pizzagate. Do you know what I'm saying?
Stuff that is so
we
left
hate you.
field.
We hate her. We hate her. We fucking hate her. And what is the most hateful thing that we could say? And then like what in terms of the touchstone, like, so we hate Hillary Clinton, and we hate her generally because in 1992, when she was the first lady, she said, I'm not going to bake cookies and be the little woman. And what they heard was she hates women. She thinks women who are wives and mothers are shit. She is the wrong kind of woman. And there was this whole thing painted on her, right? But that's not great to articulate. And maybe you can't even articulate that's what it is.
So you come up with something else.
So it turns over time into something that has to do with a perversion and sex. And then there's something that rings true. And it just it calcifies around this ridiculous lie. I think the horse thing came from that people knew she had a few lovers. They knew a couple of who those lovers were. And among the most prevalent stories, because that coup I told you about with her dressing as a man and she woke up in the middle of the night, this is crazy, is she rode a white horse to the Winter Palace. That after she had gotten into this male guard's regalia, that she had ridden fairly dramatically. And I think that purposefully, consciously, subconsciously, that she rode to power on a white horse in men's clothes.
This horse is then what we are going to try to destroy you with in this story, this after story.
Whether or not they were even conscious of it, I think that the horse just came out of because she's associated with
it's
horses.
so wild, and maybe it's just in the circles that I'm in or in the books that I've read, but for me, have never seen that story as a thing that people were meaning to shame her with. It was more this lady was so powerful and was so curious and so weird. I mean, that being said, bestiality is not fair. Animals can't consent, right? So it's of course it's wrong and weird and terrible, but it's there's always kind of yes, at that time it would have been a very shameful thing and a terrible story that would have
totally. And it's also you look at Cleopatra and you think about how quickly the slut shaming that she used her sex for power, any real or perceived story in which her sex became a part of the power, even if it was something that she was exploited for.
Sure.
That becomes a huge deal. Look at pop stars. Look at female political figures, female pop stars. I mean, it happened. We don't even have to go far. Kamala Harris. Regardless of how you felt about her politically, one of the overriding narratives quickly and often was that she fucked her way to the top. Who did she fuck? Or what is the deal with her husband? Because, they got married a little late in life and they don't have any biological children themselves. That's
insane. That's crazy. Guys, those arguments don't have legs. It is nothing that is silly, that is stupid, that is fodder for lies.
Always. There's just always a woman in power. The easiest target is some kind of sexual perversion.
To shame them or hurt them, or it's
It also, to me, with this period of time of monarchies and inheritance, she was brought there to have sex with. Her job, her actual purpose was to be
15.
fucked by this guy and have a baby. So it isn't even I don't think it's ever appropriate now to be oh, you're just a pop star or you're a political figure because of who you fucked or whatever. I think it's inappropriate now. But then it was less inappropriate because yes, Johanna put you in a wagon and took you to Russia to get fucked. I mean, that's the bottom line. You're here to get fucked and have a baby. Your sex is your power. And it's the only power you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
So that she used sex and her gender to become the Empress of Russia, I think, consciously or subconsciously, perverted itself in the eyes of her enemies into bestiality.
Sure.
I don't know if they knew how else to interpret it.
But even if that's a story that people still hear, I think it will continue to live on that this person was powerful.
But those rumors were, to your point, those sexual rumors about where she put her clitoris or she was fucked by a horse were propagated by her enemies at a time when they were designed to shame her. They were designed to embarrass her. They were fabricated for humiliation. But history and the arc of history is long. And what happens is you get into periods of time where you and I read it and go, fuck yeah.
Yeah, what a powerful
exactly.
Amazing.
So even though there's still lies,
though we know, I'm sorry, it's so ridiculous. I never believed literally she had a horse hoisted above her. But the fact that she was that curious in sex and a powerful woman, hell yeah.
I know exactly.
And so that's what I'm taking from it. And that's what I hope people going forward take from it. Your enemies know that you are powerful enough and curious enough and in touch with your own self and sexuality enough that they think this is a rumor they can spread that people will actually believe, then good for you. You are laying a foundation for people going forward, for women going forward to go, my sexuality is valid. My power is valid. They do not have to combine in order to, for like, I do not have to have one in order to get the other. But just the way that Catherine opened up the conversation for both of those fields is so empowering that I was so drawn to. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, but really I learned most of this tonight through you.
Here's your cherry on top. Because if you recall where we rejoined Catherine in this part 2,
yes,
she was giving birth to a secret baby in a house fire. Do you want to hear what happened to the baby?
Yes!
Now this baby, nobody talked about this baby. No one is allowed to say a whisper about this baby. This baby is a mystery. And Catherine has gone through the coup and the fighting of all the people. And Dashkova thinks she needs another castle. And where's that guy who gave me the sword belt? I mean, Catherine's been through it. In the meantime, this baby that was whisked away from her in the middle of a house fire, that was, right? Intentionally
unbelievable.
His name is Alex Bubrinsky. Okay. Alexei Bubrinsky is raised by Catherine's valet. He does not know who his mama is. He does, however, know that Catherine the Great is around a lot.
Oh, she stays in his life?
She visits him regularly.
Of course she does. She freaking loves him. It's her baby. Did she only have 2 children?
She only had 2, Paul and Alexei. And he is a little frail. He's very reserved. He's very shy.
He's a little frail.
He didn't know that she was his mother. But around about 13, 14, he might have been able to put it together because she gives him a village.
I am thinking of giving my 5-year-old a labubu.
Which is also a great gift. She gives him a village. She names him a prince.
Of course she does.
Now, I don't know about you. I don't think 13, 14, 15 is a great time to find out your mom might be queen and to get a village.
No, you've got a lot going on. Just have your valet dad and your whatever normie mom and live your life.
He doesn't handle it great. He becomes a bit of a partier, a gambler, an alcoholic.
Oh, no.
He becomes a little bit nerve-wracking. And so Catherine kind of has him move a little bit. She gives him a village, but it's a little bit further away.
Okay, but stop. But calm yourself.
And then, of course, she dies by being fucked by a horse, as everybody knows. And this is when Paul becomes emperor.
Big brother.
Big brother Paul.
Big brother to Alexei.
Paul is aware of Alexei. Because these intrigues, there may be a slightly covered, but someone always knows. And when the right time comes around, he, Paul, brings Alexei home.
Oh, no.
And Paul and Alexei become like party bros.
No! I thought you were going to say he murders him.
No, Paul's like, hey,
I got a brother.
Mom sucks. And they become party bros. And then eventually
Wait, they both thought mom sucks.
Do they what?
They both thought mom sucked?
They both thought mom kind of sucked.
That sucks.
Kind of sucks, but she did kind of suck to them as mom.
Sure,
maybe not the
get
best
it,
mom.
but also their dads sucked more.
Word, but
sorry.
Paul, well, here's 2 things Paul does.
Okay.
In addition to bringing Alexei in, when he becomes emperor, no more women. He changes the inheritance and the way the thrones go back to pre-Peter the Great. And it is why, among other things, she is known as the last empress of Russia, because he says only male heirs from here on out. Bubrinsky, the bastard son of Catherine the Great and Gregory Orlov, eventually sort of tires of partying and gambling and living with his brother Paul. And he goes into agricultural science. And the region of Russia, the Babrinsky region of
Wait, his
Russia.
last name, why is he called Babrinsky?
Because that was like the region he was raised in. Is like still known for its like sugar cultivation.
Oh.
And the Babrinskys are in America and around the world, and many of them are still
this is the last
scientists.
name. Babrinsky.
Yes, Alexei Babrinsky, Catherine the Great's bastard son, has a line of scientists.
So he has the valet's last name.
The region where the valet took him. Yes. So it's sort of like of the Babrinsky.
That's fascinating. This is also poignant also with the recent US-Russia relationship and what is going on in the United States and what is going on in the Russian leadership is it's simultaneous. Okay, so episode 1 of this two-parter, you talked about the one of the books you read for planning for this had like 700 pages, and it claimed it as tedious and fascinating.
Yes.
You loved it, and you called it tedious and you loved it. And I was like, that's so like, also it is tedious and I love it and I'm terrified of it with how this long Russian history and our long U.S. history and how although they thought they were so separate, their histories were also so combined in the emancipation of the enslaved people and the power shift and dynamic and the Russian and Putin and Trump and all this stuff. It is so intertwined while we are literally on opposite hemispheres. It is. And then I'm going to go in and lay next to my sweet little sleeping babies. And like, it is mind blowing how intertwined this entire planet is. And studying history so we don't repeat it is literally the only answer that I know of. But also people that want to rewrite history or tell their own version of history, and winners always have the ultimate version of history. And we go, what is it? But morality and the rightness, in my opinion, don't kill, don't hurt, don't cause harm, leave the world better than you left it, right? Like, how do we do that? How do we
also
leave that?
recognizing your own hypocrisy.
Yes.
If you can. I mean, because that was where, like, in the 1930s, like, during Dillinger, for example, like when John Dillinger was gunned down by the FBI, Adolf Hitler said, gunning people down with no trial. How dare you criticize fascism? It was on the cover of
Hitler said
fascist socialist headlines were like, America's telling us that we shouldn't be doing this, but they are shooting people for making booze.
Wow.
They are gunning down American citizens in the street with no trial because they're making illegal booze. So who are they to tell us? I mean, that was in the 1930s. And still, Putin, in interviews within the last 10 years, whenever there's any, like, you just throw people in gulags, and he says, you throw your black people in jail. He's like, go clean up your own house. I mean, he quickly comes back every time with racial segregation in America. It's the crime we know. And you and I both shrug and go, he's got a point.
Well, he's got a point.
Because
our point doesn't make his point invalid, our point against him invalid. Look at yourself, bro. While you're coming back at us, look at your fucking self, dude.
But he's just saying, you have no room to criticize. You say you are this utopian place where freedom rings and everyone has a voice. And he just, and like, it is a painful truth that we'd be wise to come to grips with. Because if you really can't look in the mirror and if you really can't criticize someone like Putin without quickly holding your hat in your lap, then you've probably got a fucking problem.
Yeah.
You know? And frankly, J. Edgar Hoover's FBI was violating all of our constitutional rights.
Yeah.
And the way that we treat African American, any one of them, the ICE.
Bad.
I would like to know on what footing the United States thinks it can go anywhere and tell other people how to manage their populations with a constitutional law When we don't even have to read Miranda rights to people anymore.
Focus on your freaking self, U.S. Focus on your freaking self and figure this shit out.
It's good advice for History Girl, and it is good advice for individuals. And we, my darling, can you believe it? Look at my clipboard smoking.
We did it! I want to do this every day of my life. This was so fun. You are so good, Dawn, at what you do. It is mind-blowing how good you are at what you do. Like, truly. You are a master at this. I am honored to get to do this with you.
Oh my God, the honor is mine. This has been so great. You invited me into your home. You plied me with whiskey. I got to pee in your child's toilet. This is also the second time that I've sat you down and hilfed all over you. You are a gracious partner.
I love it. Let's do it again.
More. Thanks again to Kelly Vrooman. Oh, she is so amazing. And if you don't already follow her and watch all of her hilarious videos, well, you click the links in the episode description and get wise, man. Okay, a better writer, improviser, and actor you'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere. I'm a big fan. And as for you and I, hey, our next episode is a heart kicker. Check it out. We're hilfing the Rosetta Stone with my sister-in-law, Maggie. I know, I just saw the artifact, the real one, full frontal, while visiting the British Museum in London, and Maggie was a linguistics major. So join us and hear the story of how this single archaeological discovery unlocked thousands of years of history. Until then, our theme song was composed and performed by Kat Perkins. Artwork for HILF is designed by Joe Dressel. And a reminder that you can find my sources, links to the books, documentaries, and articles I reference in the summary of this episode, or by emailing us, hilfpodcast@gmail.com, or messaging us on social media @hilfpodcast. If you'd like to leave a little cash on the nightstand, I'm so grateful for that. You can find me on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Links to these and more are all in the show notes. This has been HILF, History I'd Like to Fuck with Dawn Brody. I'm Dawn Brody, reminding you that history is a party and everybody's coming.